What do you think is the most counterintuitive truth about power that people resist or don't understand?
One of the fascinating things, okay, so this kind of now just takes us into the general domain of personal power, is a lot of times we're told we should associate ourselves with successes and distance ourselves from failures. And there is a certain nugget of truth to that, but there's also a huge area where this is completely the worst advice you can get. And in fact, they did a bunch of research on managers. They took mid-level managers, directors, and things, and they asked them to explain a salary freeze. And the managers, the group of managers they had, real managers, either blamed it, this hypothetical salary freeze, on things like the economy, or it came from executive management, or they took the hit. They said, well, I didn't really promote our team's efforts strong enough, and that's why we didn't get it. So either they dodged the bullet or they took the hit. Then this experiment, they took a second group of managers from other organizations, and they had them rate the responses of the first. And by and large, those managers who had blamed themselves, who took the hit and said, I'm responsible for this, and the reason you guys didn't get a salary raise, were seen as more likable, more managerial, more powerful. Whereas those who dodged the bullet and said had something to do with the economy, for example, something external, not in the manager's control, they were seen as weaker. And you really see this now in the return to office trend going on, which is you seeing executive leaders make these big, bold statements. Everybody needs to be in the office 5 days a week. And now let's say that you're a manager and your employees are really grumbling about this and they're really upset. And if you're saying, well, I'm sorry, that's, it's executive management decision, there's nothing I can do, you are really looking ineffective in your team eyes. So you're losing your leadership capability in their eyes. You're losing their respect. I invite managers who are in this position to really think, well, what are ways that I can really communicate this as something that's within my power, my responsibility, whatever the case. And there are different ways we can do that. I could give you one right now, which is just to reframe this discussion, not on the constraints being imposed, but on the vision and the goals that one has for the team, that you have for the team.